Hello, and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Vice Vice Baby, where we will continue the journey of Neddie and Beckie Stubtail. Story 25, Neddie in a Snowbank. Mama, said Neddie Stubtail, the little boy bear, as he got up from the supper table one evening. May I go over to Sammy Littletail's house tonight? What for? Asked Mrs. Stubtail. Oh, we're going to play with his magic lantern, answered Neddie. We're going to show some funny pictures. All the boys are going to be there. Oh, I wish I could go, cried Becky, the little girl bear, as she looked to see if her green hair ribbon had turned pink. But it had not, I'm sorry to say. Oh, you wouldn't want to be the only girl there, spoke Neddie. Oh, yes, I would, exclaimed Becky. I like boys better than I do girls. And she wasn't all bashful like as she said that. Some girls are that way, you know. Well, I guess so, answered the lady bear slowly. But first, you must study your school lessons. Oh, I'll do that, cried Neddy eagerly. I'll learn my reading lesson and my number work. I haven't got much. I've just got to find out how many apples a man would have left if he bought 2 peaches for 5 cents and sold a bushel of potatoes for 13 muskmelons. What a funny thing to want to know, laughed Becky. Who asked you that question? I don't know, replied Nettie. It's in the book, that's all I know, and I've got to find the answer for myself. I'm not sure, but I think it's a dozen honey cakes. Now, please don't bother me anymore, Becky, for I'm going to study. Oh, I won't bother you, said the little girl bear. I've got to study my own lessons, and after that, I'm going to make a sky blue pink dress for my new doll, Lillian Cheesecake Clothes Basket. Neddy hurried with his studying so that he might go over to the house of Sammy Littletail, the rabbit boy, and see the magic lantern show. A magic lantern, you know, is something like a moving picture show, only different. I guess you've seen one, so I don't need to tell you about it. Well, then he finished his homeschool work, and I guess he did as you boys and girls may often have done. He skipped the hard parts and only took the easy questions, such as how to spell dog, and cat, and rat, and apple, and cake. Then he put on his hat and coat and started to go over to Sammy Littletail's house. It was not a great way there through the woods. The moon was shining brightly just as it was the night before, when Neddie and Becky went to Kitty Cat's party, and Neddie fell into the flour barrel, as I had the pleasure of telling you in the story before this one. When Neddie got to Sammy Littletail's house, he saw many of his little animal boyfriends there, and Sammy was all ready to start the magic lantern show. And oh, what a nice show it was! A white sheet was tacked on the wall, and on that the picture was shown. There was one picture of some little dog in a country called Germany, walking around their hind legs and eating pie with a spoon. Then there was another picture of a cow blowing her horns to make a nice tune so the grasshoppers could dance. After that, Sammy showed a picture of a big lion roaring his loudest voice. And, so as to make it seem more like a lion, Neddie, the little bear boy, growled as loudly as he could, stooping down under the table to hide himself. And when that picture was shown, and when Neddie growled, Jilly Longtail, the little mouse boy, was so scared that he cried right out loud, I want to go home, I want to go home. Of course, everyone laughed at him, but for all that poor little Jilly was quite frightened. Why, it's only a picture, said Neddie, as he crawled out from under the table, where he had been trying to roar like a lion. Don't cry, Jilly, and he wiped away the tears of the little mousy boy. with his soft fur. Well, after that, more pictures were shown, and then Mrs. Littletail, the rabbit lady, brought out some nice sweet cakes for the animal boys, and Susie Littletail, the rabbit girl, who was a sister to Sammy, as I guess you know, helped her mama pass the cakes around to everyone. Well, everybody had a good time, and when it came the hour for the boys to go home, which was quite early, Sammy looked out the window and exclaimed, "Why, it's snowing hard!" "Snowing lard, did you say?" asked Neddie. "No, not lard, and not butter either," answered Sammy, with a laugh. "I said it was snowing hard. Hard. Not soft, you know." "Oh, now I see," cried Neddie. "Well, I'm glad it's snowing, for we can have some fun, making snowmen, and building forts and sliding downhill." "I'm glad too," exclaimed Tommy Cat, the kitten boy, "for it will soon be Christmas, and I always like snow at Christmas." Everybody else at the Magic Lantern show said the same thing, and soon they had started for their homes, because it kept snowing harder all the while, and they did not want to get snowed in. Neddie Stubtail, the little bear boy, hurried along, kicking his paws through the snow and thinking what fun he would have with his sister Beckie on their way to school next morning. "I'll get out my sled and pull Beckie," thought Neddie. He would do this, you see, because Beckie could not come to the Magic Lantern show. Well, Neddie was walking along and he was putting out his tongue and letting the snowflakes melt on it, sort of tickling himself like, when all of a sudden Neddie heard a roaring sound and a voice. "Aha! Now I've got you. You shan't fool me this time by covering yourself with flour and making believe you're a polar bear. I'm after you." And out from behind a snowbank rushed the bad old circus lion who had chased Neddie and Beckie the night before, when they were on their way home from cat party. "Oh my!" exclaimed Neddie. "I guess I'd better run." And run he did, through the snow as fast as he could. But the lion ran too, and he was almost catching up to Neddie, when all at once the little bear came to the edge of a hill. He came to it so suddenly that he couldn't stop himself, and the first thing the little bear knew, he slid over the top of the hill. Down he fell, right into the middle of a big bank of snow on the other side. Now, a snowbank isn't hard like iron bank in which you put your pennies, and so Neddie wasn't hurt the least mite. I'm glad to say, gracious, if he had fallen on the hard iron bank, I don't know what might happen. I guess maybe he had broken his toothache anyhow. I'm not saying for sure, but maybe. Anyhow, Neddie fell kerflop into the soft snow, and the fluffy flakes closed up over his head, not leaving any hole to show where he had gone in, so that when the bad lion came to the edge of the hill and looked down, expecting to see the little bear boy, he couldn't see him at all. At all. For Neddie was hidden by the kind snowbank. "My, that's rather queer," said the lion, sort of roaring to himself and scratching his nose with his tail. "Very strange to be sure. I'm positive that the bear boy is around here somewhere. I'll just call and make him come out." So the lion called, "Hey, you Neddie Stubtail, come out wherever you are and let me bite you." But of course, Neddie was too smart for that. He just stayed hiding under the snowbank, and finally the bad lion went away through the storm, growling to himself and wondering what had happened to Neddie. But Neddie stayed in the snowbank for some time, and then finally the little bear chap began wondering how he was ever going to get out to go home, for the snowbank was very big, And then a funny thing happened. Neddie's warm breath melted a hole in the snowbank, and the little bear boy could look out just as if he were looking through a window in a snow house. And in the shining moonlight, for it had stopped snowing, he saw a little way off the very cave in which he lived. Then he scratched hard with his paws and breathed hard with his warm breath, and soon he was out of the snowbank. A little later, he was safe in his own house. And oh my, how glad his mama was to see him. So, he had quite an adventure, which goes to show that you can never tell what will happen when a lion chases you. And on the next page, if the popcorn doesn't go bang up against the ceiling and knock the gaslight down cellar, I'll tell you about Neddie and Beckie helping Uncle Wigwag. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Bedtime Stories with Vice Vice Baby. I hope you all have a good night and sweet dreams.